is SIMPS in government allows women to destroy man and a community with no accountability. How is this a man's world? Is 8 to 5 years sufficient? I guess you could guess who posted that one on the Discord. Now I remember he posted it. So you, Uzuli, come on up. This comes with a link. It's about 6.5 minutes.
Story which left it.
We'll watch it and then we will discuss.
It is an extraordinary story. Story left town shaken to its core, not knowing what or who to believe. And it began with this Facebook post.
I think this is the hardest post I'm ever going to write. I didn't want to share this because I'm scared of the judgment that will come with it. People need to be looking out for young girls and protecting them.
Alongside the graphic photos, Ellie Williams claimed she was being raped, tortured and exploited at the hands of an Asian grooming gang. Pictures of Ellie Williams, her young face and body covered in scars and bruises, were like a grenade thrown into the middle of this town. Barrow was torn in two, divided between the people who believed Ellie had been a victim of an Asian grooming gang and those who felt it was an elaborate racist lie. There were protests on the street, dark conspiracies online, a community profoundly damaged, its scars yet to heal. The day after the pictures were posted, there was an arrest, but it wasn't of any alleged attackers. It was of 19-year-old Ellie herself. Police said she'd broken bail conditions, having previously been arrested for perverting the course of justice. The same day, in a highly unusual move, the police then issued this statement.
What I would say is, when the question is asked, is there an organised gang of Asian men in Barrow conducting abuse or otherwise exploitation against individuals, our investigation has shown that that has not been corroborated with otherwise evidence.
If the intention was to reassure the town, to calm its sense of shock, it resolutely and very publicly failed. The far-right activist Tommy Robinson arrives to investigate the claims of Asian gangs grooming young girls.
And then obviously this story by this Ellie girl has blew it up. And the fact that she's been remanded, there's so much to it.
In the months that follow, resentment and anger festers on all sides. Asian businesses are terrorised. A local newspaper reporter is forced to go into hiding. But the questions which have so bitterly divided the town are resolved in the most dramatic way. At court, a raft of damning evidence showing Ellie Williams has made up the whole story. Here she is on CCTV footage, calmly booking herself into a hotel in Blackpool, supposedly at the time she'd been trafficked there. Here she is buying snacks in a local shop. And here, perhaps the most extraordinary piece of evidence. Ellie buys a hammer, which the jury are told she uses to inflict horrific injuries on herself. Ellie Williams was convicted of 9 charges of perverting the course of justice and today sentenced to 8.5 years in jail.
There is no explanation for why the defendant would commit these offences. She has gone to extraordinary lengths to create false accusations, including causing herself significant injury.
A brief statement from Ellie herself was read out in court. "I'm not saying I'm guilty," she said, "but I know that I have done wrong on some of this, so I'm sorry." Outside the court, the question, would that be enough for the men Ellie Williams accused of rape and exploitation?
I feel no sense of triumph, only sadness for the loss of the years, the impact on my family, here we are, and the true impact that this will have on true victims. That's the loss here.
Mr. Ramzan says he's now supporting Jordan Trengove, who spent 10 weeks in jail after Ellie accused him of rape. Both say they tried to take their own lives because of the stress. If you were able to say anything to Ellie Williams today, what would you say?
Why? I want to know why you have done this to us. And I'd love to know why, because she's not only done it to me and Mo, she's done it to our families, and there's innocent children and kids involved in our families along with that, and she's destroyed their lives as long with ours.
The impact on the town as a whole has been almost as devastating. Police say the protests were the biggest in decades. Scores of hate crimes have been reported. Simon Fell, the local Conservative MP, says even though Ellie is clearly a damaged young woman, it's right that she should pay for the damage she has done.
No one does that to themselves if they're well. If they're in a good state of mind, if they're in a happy setup around them, then they just simply don't do that. So there's something that's gone on there. She is clearly a victim of something.
In terms of the legacy Barrow has been left with after this, how would you describe that?
We've been left with a permanent far-right presence in the community. We didn't have one before. Occasionally they'd stop in and do a protest, but that was it. But now, we have regular events with Patriotic Alternative, who turn up, spread leaflets of hate through people's letterboxes, and it's really ugly.
For Ellie Williams' mother, it's a devastating verdict.
The court has decided she is a liar about really serious things.
Yeah, that's correct. And in the eyes of the law, I've got to follow that verdict and accept that.
So as Ellie begins to pay the price for lying about exploitation the court says never happens, Alison can only sit and wait for her young daughter to come home.
She's a happy little thing. And so I miss that. I miss that energy in the house and her being here. But she'll be back again at some point. So we just got to look forward to that time.
But as she waits, Barrow itself must rebuild, a community torn in two by the lies of one young woman.
All right. Hold on. Let me make sure this thing doesn't do that stupid stuff.
It is an extraordinary.
Eleanor Williams jailed for 8.5 years over rape lies. So that it wasn't 8 to 5, it was 8.5 over rape lies. In the chat, let me mix it up a bit. In the chat, Tanzan says this is a puff piece. Tanzan, what say you? Elaborate on that. What say you to this prompt?
Yeah, not only did she get away with, telling lies, but this whole way that this is presented is almost like redeeming her, her image. They even have her, mother crying over what happened and so on, and they only give a few minutes of that guy. And the funny thing is, like, these people, it's like the Asian hate bill over here. When something happens to Black people, well, sometimes people will come out and flash some signs and all of that stuff, but nobody in general really cares. But when something happens to them, like, oh, those poor people, this happened to them and so on and so forth, and everybody feels bad for them, and yet something that has been systematically happening to people for years is just casually ignored. So you can only have so much in your sympathy bucket for these people. But in any case, the whole poor her, she must not be in her right mind, trying to understand her the criminality, her psychological makeup and all this nonsensical things. Like, all that there should be is vindictive vituperation. We should not be trying to understand what is in her mind and what had made her do this and so on and so forth. This obsession with trying to understand the villain is ridiculous, and you only see it being applied one way. Nobody tries to understand the apparent predator or the savage and all that. They're simply written off. But look at us trying to understand why she did what she did, and yeah. So not only did she, even like, it's similar to that case of that police woman who slept with all the men, and suddenly, oh, now she's been groomed into it and whatever. They can always just go back and then say whatever story or plan whatever story that they want, knowing full well that firstly, they'll never be caught, and secondly, even if they are, they won't really, be punished for it. So this is not just about, women. It's about, particular kind of women. Yeah, Black women do that all the time sometimes, but usually these kinds of stories is usually, the tears of these women. And so yeah, it's not about it's about how is this a man's world. It's a particular kind of man's world. It's not all the men's world. It's that they always put this, oh, the pure, she can't be so evil because she, something happened to her and so on. There's always a reason why she did what she did. And yet, if it was a Black woman, oh, we don't need to know, she's just a terrible person and that's just how she is. So yeah, you know, that's
I
my
appreciate that, Tan. Let's welcome in Sankara Patrice. This brother's been on before, but I see him on Bakari's platform a lot. Sankara, how are you this week?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we got you loud and clear. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. So you see the prompt. SIMPS in government allows women to destroy men and a community with no accountability. How is this a man's world? Is 8.5 years sufficient?
No, I thought it should be more. I was going to comment how I notice in these type of pieces when they have European women or something like that, or just European people in general. Um, when it's something like this, again, where she's lying on non-white people, and I'm sure there's a lot they're not saying. All right. And I think they're keeping out. I'm sure she mentioned something about us too, but it's very protected. The way they spin this is very protective of her. You see them talking to the family. You see what other people think of her, like the family, and they kind of paint her as a victim in a way. They don't talk about her like she's a criminal, which is what she is. And I find that they do that in the media a lot. When it's us, we're just criminals. There's no, and then they'll go and try to find all kinds of dirt you did, and they'll flash that all over the place, and spin the narrative that that's what you are. You're a criminal. You've always been a bad apple or whatever. But with this, you can see that they're making it sound like it's unfortunate that she got punished, and it's just funny the way it's just hypocrisy. That same old stuff the media always does. Um, in a way, I think they allow the feminists. I guess in some ways, it shows how much power women have in these type of cases because um, they can women have their power is they can manipulate, and while it is a man's world per se, if a woman chooses, I think in a lot of ways women can manipulate that power to their own benefit. um, I guess that's my only comment on the man's world part of that. So in some ways it's not just a man's world because of that. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it.
I appreciate that,
Yeah.
Sankara. Thanks for coming on too. Just hang out with us for a little bit. Yeah,
Okay.
this should be the last prompt for tonight. Let's go to Carl Hezekiah. Carl, what say you?
So there's a long history of these white women lying and people dying. You know, these white women come up, make up stories because they're just bored, and other people pay the price for it. And like like to Tanzan's point, they're soft on this woman. They're looking at this woman as though she doesn't. We don't know why, and they got her mother crying and all tearful because her daughter's away from home. This woman could have got somebody killed. And I say it's a long history of white women lying. making up stuff just for shits and giggles, and then other people pay the price. For example, talk in history, talk about the Salem witch trials. The Salem witch trials started because four white girls were bored and they had an African slave by the name of Tituba. They claimed this African slave introduced them to the devil, and they went to some sort of coven and all the other bull crap, and 19 people got killed. You know, and here 100 years ago this year in Rosewood, Florida, some white woman lied and said she got attacked by a black man, and they destroyed an entire city of black people for no reason. These white women would lie, they make up stories, and then other people pay the cost. And to the point about this being a man's world, a part of patriarchy is protection. So you have these women that are protected by the patriarchy. They have free reign to do what they want because ultimately the victims of their lives are people that are considered outside the protected group. So it doesn't matter if a white woman lies because the people who she hurts don't really matter. They're not human. So now you have these racists coming into this town, instigating violence against people who have done nothing. And she got 8 years in jail. I'm surprised she got that because many times these women lie and they get away scot free and nothing happens to them. So the fact that she even got any time is quite shocking, but I think it just speaks to how egregious her actions were. So there's a long history of white women lying. They come out here with the tears. Oh, I'm so scared. I can't believe it. And it's all just bullshit. Whatever they get off online, wielding power, it's proxy violence. They're not able to inflict violence themselves, but they can, make up a story. And some man will show up like an attack dog, and she can sick him on the guys or the community she doesn't like. And this is very deliberate. Her mother's all tearful crying. You raised your daughter. You know what you raised, lady. So stop with the crocodile tears. You know who your daughter is. You know the advantages that white women have because white women's tears, they move people. They move white people. Sometimes black people too. So this whole scenario is just really disgusting. The fact that she only got 5 to 8 years is just nonsense because, again, people's lives were completely upended, and she doesn't even have she's not even really remorseful. She's like, I didn't lie about all of it, bitch. We got you on camera at the goddamn Home Depot buying a hammer to fuck yourself up. There's no contrition from this broad, and I don't think if she hadn't been caught on camera, she would continue to lie until the day she died. This happened, knowing damn well none of this took place. Look what happened for Emmett Till. This white woman lied and said he whistled at her. None of that happened, But yet here this young man gets killed back in the 1950s, and we never got any justice for it. So these white women, these white hoes, should be lying, and That's why I never understood the attraction that some black men have for these white women, because I don't get it, because they can get you killed just as easily as a gun. There's too much history behind them uh, being deceptive, lying, getting people lynched or murdered, or getting their property taken. It's just disgusting that this woman only got 5 to 8 years when people could have lost their lives. People were suicidal behind this woman's lies, and she brought down a bunch of white supremacists, a bunch of racists into the town to protect her lives, which has made life more difficult for the people who live there, the Asians, and probably I'm pretty sure some black people live in that town who was dealing with this bullshit. So yeah, fuck her and her mom, and that's my thoughts on that.
Like Nama says in the chat, Forecast is vindicated when he calls these cave women white bitches. He absolutely is. Shout out to Forecast. Let's hear from Real Black Gentleman. Real Black Gentleman, what say you?
Man, this stuff makes me sick, man. It's like once again, I mean, it hits you in the gut because I mean, it's like, how do I know? I mean, it's like it's not her. It's just the general, like, this happens with black people too. I mean, black women do things to black men and they don't get any kind of accountability. There's all kinds of situations where a paternity fraud is a big thing. Just the idea that, you know what I'm saying, you can lie about whose child, you know what I'm saying, that whole situation. Like, there's a lot where I mean, this goes back to the home environment, but at the same time, it's not just the home. I mean, messages have to be spread beyond just small, people everywhere, regardless of, I mean, that's disgusting. I'm glad that she did that to herself. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Better hers than mine. It's just that, in this world where, you know what I'm saying, the whole damsel, it's like neo damselism, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know what I'm saying, it's the whole like she's strong but she's weak at the same time, you know what I'm saying? A lot of that energy, a lot of the I mean, I like to say it like this, like it's better to be, I mean, I don't know what her relationship is like. If she's single, she's probably single. I mean, I'm just saying, like, women should, I mean, it's hard. I want to encourage pair bonding. You know what I'm saying? Men should be with women. I mean, this should be encouraged. Like, people should be matchmaking with each other, just in general. And if it doesn't work out with one arrangement, well, things should be encouraged. It's like, non-married person should be a minority in general. That would be ideal. I mean, for whatever reasons, I mean, it'd be nice to have a lot of situations where you generally have, you know what I'm saying, optimal as optimal as it can be. You don't want situations where women are saying, you know what I'm saying, it's just this all this where women lie on a man. Women say that, you know what I'm saying, he did wrong. Women using any kind of like subterfuge, lies, just any kind of just, I see it's the idea of women, abusing identity and abusing it's hurtful, because it's like not all women do it. I mean, it's hurtful. It's hurtful. It makes me, you know what I'm saying, I see that, and I just think, you know what I'm saying, it's not hurtful to me that she did it. Like I said, it's just like, I know what our people are going through with similar things. It's not necessarily to that degree or that to that degree. You know what I'm saying? It's just the lying on our own for personal gain that isn't really going to go very far upon any kind of like investigation or whatnot. I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna yield the mic for now.
I appreciate that, RBG. Stick around for the wrap up coming up in a few. We'll end at 2 a.m. as we usually do. Let's take it to Jose. Jose, what say you to the SIMPS government allows women to destroy man and the community with no accountability? How is this a man's world? Is 8.5 years sufficient?
Yeah, 8.5 years is a surprise that she gets punished at all. I believe the normal usually the falsely accusers don't get punished at all. But check this out. I've once seen a video of a sister with a hammer standing on a bed and like threatening or actually harming herself. But compared to this, it was a funny video. It was people were angry, and it's something to be angry about. A sister, and she was, she was not alone. There were other people in the room, so it could be peer pressure or impressing these other sisters or whatever. But compared to this one was determined, went to a shop, bought a hammer, and imagine you're alone in your house or in your room or whatever, and you're hurting yourself to those levels that she did. Imagine that. So the video that I saw of the sister, it's in comparison, it's funny because I can fill in a lot with what happened to with the sister, because the way it was filmed, it was filmed by somebody was holding the phone. She was standing on a bed, and she was making a whole lot of drama compared to this devil. That's funny. You know, it's a couple of girls in a room making a funny video compared to to this bullshit. But also, you know, I'm going to repeat because yeah, more of us have addressed it, and that's the way it's being handled, like soft. You know, it's being handled as if it's an incident. While everybody has mentioned a lot of incidents. You know, yeah, and when there's a lot of incidents, it's not an incident. You know, a white woman accusing a black man with devastating results. So yeah, it's just a confirmation of who we're dealing with.
All right, we're gonna end at 2 a.m. So that gives us 12 minutes. Anybody wants to add any thoughts to this prompt right here?
Yeah, I just want to say, um, this woman was very, her whole story, you could tell just from the way she was framing it was just bullshit. And the fact that people went along with it, like she was telling the truth, like she was saying she got captured by some Asian grooming gang and they captured her. Just the, just the whole story was bullshit. So I think that many times that we have trouble viewing women as a threat because in most cases men are physically stronger than women, but women are human beings just like everybody else, and they have the potential to be threatened. They have the potential to be dangerous, and I think that overall we don't even know how to conceptualize women as potentially being dangerous. So I just wanted to add that onto there because her story was anybody could have thought she made this shit up, but they gave her enough credence to kind of ruin people's lives because we don't know how to really look at women as being a threat.
That's a good point, Carl. That's a very good point. Yeah, you can tell the story was some bullshit. Does anyone else want to add anything? Real Black Gentleman, you want to add anything?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Okay. Seems that's it then.
I'll add one last thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just to reiterate Carl's point about believing women. You know, there's only so much consideration you can give for weakness. Yes, women are physically, weaker than men and so on and so forth. But in terms of self-interest and calculation, women are no less self-interested than men are. So this whole idea of, even of this mistaken idea of sometimes just chivalry, the Greek mythology of the Trojan War was all because of the kidnapping of a woman. And not just that, but so many men have died because of women, not in just in personal, duels, but also just because someone said something. And so we should stop pedestalizing and just having this women are either completely good or completely bad, or men are completely good heroes or they're complete villains. It's not simple or easy to just simply classify one person or one gender as one thing or the other. At the we're all still humans with various characteristics. We all grow up around each other and so on. So this idea that women, if a woman says something, oh yes, she must be right just because she's a woman. No, you're supposed to treat her statements the same way as you treat a man's, unless you say that she's somehow not able to grasp what truth is, less than a man. So it's almost like infantilizing women, like, oh, they don't really know what they're saying, and then if they're caught saying it, oh, they didn't really mean it, sort of thing, or they must have been all this nonsense. So it allows women who are truly devious to be able to get away with so much because they hide under the cover of women who are truly in need. because if a woman, she knows that women are not usually believed. When a lot of women are not believed, this is not just a societal thing. Women are just not believed when it comes to, assault and things like that. And so some of them, they don't say something out of fear, out of, shame, out of, whatever it is. So knowing that, she has to make it look good. And so she goes about saying, oh, well, let me concoct this story. It's very sick and premeditated. She actually, sat down, went through it, and knew how to, create the whole scenario. How sick and evil can somebody be? And then despite it all, even after she's caught, she just say, oh, well, it happened, I feel bad about it, but so this whole idea of looking at women's weakness as a means of justifying some of their criminality is something that even women have to change about themselves, because they're going to allow these women, evil women, to take advantage of someone else's real suffering. Real women go through things, and a lot of them may not be able to say it, and here she is just staging a whole scene just to get some attention, and not just attention, but she knows, she sees the consequences of it, and she just does not care. So yeah, this women have to be, they have to be punished, because that's all they can be done. They are not only just bad for the men, but they're also bad for the women who actually who have the genuine women who go through real real suffering. So the next time a woman goes through it, she might not be believed because she does not look like her, and because the last person said this and that. So yeah, she's a disgusting human being. Yeah.
That was my issue with the Me Too movement. All these people coming forward. By the way, did y'all see that the actress from, I guess the show's called Abbott Elementary, what's her name? Something Ralph. Damn it, I can't think of it. She was the mother on Moesha and stuff like that. She's claiming a certain
Cheryl Lee Ralph is her name.
Cheryl Lee, yeah, right, exactly. She's claiming that a popular TV judge sexually assaulted her some years ago, and
It wasn't Judge Mathis, was it?
Who?
Did she say it was? It wasn't Judge Mathis, was it?
No, apparently it was Joe Brown.
Oh, really? Did she have any proof?
Joe Brown responded to it, saying that he never even knew this woman, nor did he, do anything to her. And he's saying something that it could be that apparently she's married to a senator or a congressman or something. And he's saying maybe it has to do with that, considering he's running. I think he's running in Memphis. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's running in Memphis. So he thinks it could be a political thing that's happening. But yeah, she's accusing. She just said a popular TV judge, and I guess he took that as, oh, she's talking about me, and he started talking about it. But it could be, it might not be him, to that point.
Well, shouldn't have said anything if she didn't name no names. I wouldn't have said a word. That's
exactly.
how I look at it. Do I say anything?
Exactly.
It makes you look guilty, bro. You shouldn't have said nothing.
Yeah, be quiet. She didn't name no names, but I guess he want to get out in front of it or something like that. So that's very interesting. But I thought about that during the Me Too movement, when all these women would come with these 60 and 50 and 40-year-old accusations. I'm like, and then, a lot of these accusations were debunked, like in the Cosby case, right? All these accusations were debunked, and no one said anything about it. And the issue is that you guys are lying about your whereabouts on, when these things were alleged to happen. But there's real women, like Tanzan, there's real women who are going or who have gone through some shit. And it's such a disservice. It's such a disservice, especially to our women too, who get caught up in the mix too. Like there's real women caught up out here, going through some stuff, and y'all out here talking bullshit. Anyway, does anyone else want to add any last thing? All right. So let's let this time to get shout outs. I want to thank everyone who was here tonight on the panel. Thank everyone who's here in the chat tonight. You guys made this a lively discussion. Carl, you want to shout anything out this week?
Nothing to shout out. I enjoyed my time here, and hopefully I'll see you guys next week.
All right. See you next week, Carl. Thanks for coming through. Carl's my buddy. We used to do the Bitter Medicine Book Club. We used to do those podcasts back in the day. You guys should check it out. It was a good time, man. I like Carl for that. Let me talk to Sankara Patrice Lumumba. Sankara, I know you got here late tonight, but you want to shout anything out? All right, maybe Sankara's not there, or is his mic muted? All right, perhaps he's not there. That's okay. Jose.
Yes.
Jose, did I hear from you on this program?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
yes. It was the white woman with the hammer.
Right. Okay. All right. Jose, you want to shout anything out?
A shout out to the Black Pentagrammers. Yesterday I decided to bring it back to every week again. I thought once in 2 weeks a show would be good, but let's do it every week, every Friday. The Black Pentagrammers on my channel.
Beautiful. So go to Jose Bronze and join his channel. The Black Pentagrammers are there now. Tanzan and Jose are doing it. So check him out. Go ahead, Jose.
Yeah, and of course, shout out to the chat and the panel and you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time. I know it's late where you are, so I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. My system, my clock is upside down for a few days. So okay.
I know the feeling. When you sleep, you want to sleep the day and up all night. So yeah, I know that feeling. Real Black Gentleman, you want to shout anything out this week?
I would just recommend everyone, you know what I'm saying, stay up on their health. You know what I'm saying? I got me some vitamin D and vitamin K2 drops. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You gotta get your immunity up. You know what I'm saying? Stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you get all your vitamins. You know what I'm saying? Get your exercise up. Get some of the sunshine when you can. Stay warm. Don't be out in the cold rain now. You know what I'm saying? Stay warm. But you know what I'm saying? Get your vitamins up. You know what I'm saying? Stay healthy out here. That's all.
Appreciate you. Tanzan, I guess you get the last shout out.
Thank you, Coco. Yes, I'll re-shout out the Black Pentagram Math program next Friday. Is going to be a really interesting one about language and music and geometry and the universe. So yes, I hope you join us. And yes, this Tuesday I'll see what comes up this Tuesday. Yes,
Okay.
and always Saturdays Shoot the Breeze and everybody else on the program. So yes.
Thank you. All right, that's the show tonight. Thanks to all of you who were here. Thanks to all of you who contributed to the prompts tonight. The prompts were wonderful tonight. And there was a whole bunch of other prompts too. Thank you guys for all the prompts you've been posting. Join the Discord. Hit me up. I'll give you your role, and you can then navigate the Discord and go to Shoot the Breeze category and post prompts that you want to hear discussed or join in discussion. You guys can link up with each other on the Discord. If you have books on PDF, you can email them to me at bitter.medicine.podcast@gmail.com. Send me your PDFs of the books that you think all Pan-Africanists should be reading. I will eventually post them to the Bitter Medicine Library. Thank you guys for all the comments in the chat. Trigger Happy, you guys had a robust conversation with D-Web and everyone else. Shout out to the matron. I didn't see the matron here tonight, but I believe the matron was around. Shout out to the matron. Shout out to Azuli, gassed them up. Jose, Real Black Gentleman, Tanzan. We'll be back next week, but you'll probably see me in the chat and all the other shows this week. I don't know if Harsh Rally Podcast is doing their show tonight. On Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But he'll let me know. We know Oni is doing his show at 11 a.m. in a few hours, Eastern Standard Time. So make sure to check him out. But we'll be back next week. Like Real Black Gentleman said, love the dialogue, fam. Harsh Rally Podcast says they will be on Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tune in. Now, my ex has amazing coverage tonight. Great topics. I'll suggest a few for next week. Provide triggers. You had posted a comment under a video. I'll try to get to that one next week as a topic. Anyway, until then, you guys be good. Check out all the other shows in KWAZ Radio. I'll see you next week. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast with your host, Koku. If you like what you just heard, we hope you pass along our web address, bittermedicineblogs.com, to your friends and colleagues, and share our show to all your social media. Be sure to check out our archive section on our website for previous podcasts. This has been a KWAZ radio production. Join us next time for another session of the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at Bitter Medicine Show, Twitter, Bitter Meds, Tumblr, Bitter Meds, Instagram, Bitter Medicine.